What's up, guys? It's Missy. I am back with another SimCity Build It video, and today I'm going to be talking about the Contest to Mayors training course that I offer. Alright, so you have been watching the Contest to Mayors videos of mine, and you're still having a little trouble understanding what to do or how to pick your assignments. One thing that I have noticed is that a lot of people are not able to just pick it up and just zoom and understand it right away. Do not feel bad, okay? This is not something that you're going to be able to just get right off the bat. It takes practice, and it takes patience, and it takes time, okay? It is a learning curve, and just when you think you understand it all, it hits you with a curveball. So don't think for 1 minute that you have it all figured out, or that you're never going to be able to figure it out. It's absolutely possible. You just have to be very open-minded and focused, and you have to want it, okay? So here's the thing. I have a lot of videos on the Contest of Mayors where I go through and I explain the 8 stages of the contest. Now, you need to keep in mind that this technique that I'm teaching is something that I designed. Okay, this isn't something that somebody else just did and I am teaching it to you. This is 100% something that, a technique that I 100% made all by myself. Okay, so it took me a long time to perfect it, and it took a lot of trial and error and mistakes. But once I figured out the general idea, I was able to do it and understand it from my perspective. Now, once I started to try to teach it to somebody else, it became a whole new experience for me. Because now, instead of, me doing something, I'm trying to vocally explain my thought process. And more goes on in your head than what you realize you're actually trying to teach. So, for instance, if you were to try to teach somebody how to do an epic project, right? And they don't know anything about it. Where do you begin? Well, you'll find that it's actually much harder to teach than you realize, because just when you start to think, okay, well, first you start here, and then you start there, and there, and then you're like, wait a minute, no, because they need to know, well, hold on, back up. They got to know how to change the category, why their epics won't start, which category to choose, what are epic pointers, what is epic prep. There's a lot of things than just, here, start it and go, So with the Contest of Mayors, it was like, where do I begin? And you have somebody who wants to understand, but if they're having trouble with the basics and you haven't even got into the hard stuff yet, it's almost like, oh boy, where do we begin? And so it's one of those things where, when you're in school and you are doing a math problem and the teacher's sitting next to you and she's walking you through it, and you 100% understand it. You're like, all right, cool. Yep, totally following you. And then she's like, okay, now you see if you can do the next one by yourself. And then she walks away, and you sit there with your pencil in your hand, and you're staring at your paper going, uh-oh, what do I do again? It's like that. It is just like that. You guys watch my videos, you follow along 100%, you understand it, everything's going great, and then the video clicks off, you go to your game, and then you're like, what do I do now? Or you do something, maybe you make the first couple choices, and then all of a sudden, you're stuck again. Now you don't know what to do, right? So the CoM training course is the best thing that I can do to offer other than the videos. I have done everything I can as far as videos go. Every day and every time I come across people that, make mistakes or maybe they have like a misunderstanding. I think, okay, maybe there's somebody else just like you that also has a misunderstanding. So I take their mistakes and I try to show them to you guys. so that you guys can say, okay, yeah, I thought that also, or, oh, that's good to know, and learn from other people's mistakes. So I have a couple of screenshots here that I'm going to show you guys, and hopefully you guys are not making those mistakes because they're pretty obvious mistakes, but I just wanted to clear everything up. But more importantly, let's talk about the Contest of Mayors training course that I have to offer. What you will do is you will have, there's two ways you can go about it, okay? The first way is you can take the first week in Mega and take screenshots of every single one of your choices. Now, what I prefer you do is take a screenshot of the top of your list and make sure that it includes the amount of assignments remaining and the total score. Because typically what people will do is they'll scroll down and I'll just see the very top of the list. I won't see how many assignments are left, which is information that I need to have in order to accurately determine if you did or did not make the right choice. The next thing is when you take your screenshots, if you are sending them all in at once to me, there's a couple things that need to be done. You need to make sure that you are sending them in order. Okay, I cannot review them if they're all jumbled up. The next thing is I want you to take screenshots after you've selected your choice. So what you'll do is you'll take a screenshot of your list. So let's say it's your very first assignment, okay? What I want you to do is tell me what I need to know what league you're in. Hopefully you're in Mega. And then I want to see a screenshot from top to bottom of your list. On that screenshot, I want to see the task started. Okay, so you've started it, and all the other ones are a little bit grayed out below it, but it tells me which one you selected. Then you move on to the next task. And this time, you just take the screenshot from the top of the list because I already have the bottom of the list. But you make sure that you have selected your choice before taking the screenshot. So I know what you chose. Every maybe 4 or 5 tasks, try to take another screenshot of the bottom of your list so that I don't have to scroll all the way up to the top. Okay? Send them in order. I'll review it, and I will tell you exactly what you did wrong and what you need to improve on. That is one way to do it. That's not really a CoM training course so much as it is, just me assisting you and helping you. The CoM training course is different. This is where you contact me via Facebook. I'm not going to be doing training unless it's on Facebook because I have to be able to get to your messages all the time. And I'm not going to close my game every 2 minutes because you are on Telegram or something weird. You have to be on Facebook, okay? So once you've done that and you are now on Facebook, you've contacted me, and if you don't know how to reach me on Facebook, if you type in SimCity Build It, MissyAnneTTVYT, we have a Facebook page. It's super helpful. People post, when they win. I post updated videos. There's a lot of information on there. It's got the links to all of my guides, my Contest of Mayors guide, production guide, building guide, everything's on there, okay? All you have to do is click the announcements section of that page. So you'll be able to find me on there. My name's Missy Anne on Facebook. And if you type in Missy Anne, Marysville, Washington, I should pop right up. Okay, so you've got me on Facebook. You've asked if you can be a part of the CoM training course. Here are the requirements for the CoM training course. You need to either be in Mega, or if you're not in Mega, you better be really, 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 really wanting to learn. So typically what happens is somebody will send in their screenshots before they make their selection, and they will tell me, this is the choice that I think is correct. And then I will either say, yes, it is, or give you a thumbs up. And that means to go ahead and do it. Now, then you complete that task and you send me in the next screenshot and you say, this is what I think you should do, or think I should do. If your choice is incorrect, I will say, okay, why did you choose what you chose? Or I'll say, this is the correct choice and this is why, and so on. Now, If you do not hear from me in a timely manner, you need to proceed on, but continue sending screenshots. My phone is on silent all day long, so don't worry about harassing me or waking me up or sending me too many messages. Just bombard me with messages. Just send them all in. Just keep going until I get back to you. Now, I try to get back to people pretty quickly. It just depends. I could have fallen asleep. I could be super busy. It depends on what time zone you're in. But if you are really wanting to learn, I make more time for those people. I had 2 people in my CoM training course last week, and they were not very willing to learn. For instance, I have 2 girls and 2 guys in my CoM training course. The 2 guys were way slacking, and the 2 girls really wanted to learn. When you send me in your screenshots and I say, hey, you made this mistake, and you immediately say, okay, thank you, and proceed on about your day, that tells me something that you don't want to learn. You're not here to learn. You're here to get answers, and you want answers given to you. Because the people that want to learn, really want to learn, they say, okay, can you please explain to me what I did wrong, so I better understand for later. They ask questions. They're on top of it. They're clearing their tasks as quickly as they can. They're listening to the things that I say. I want people that are really wanting to learn, okay? My time is valuable, and I can train people that, I train people that win. Everybody that I train, unless they go up against hackers, they win every week, okay? So if you look on our Facebook page, you will see so many people each week posting, hey, thanks, Missy, for all your tips and advice. I won Mega. This is my X amount of times in a row I've won thanks to you, or I've never won Mega before until now. And there's so many people that I've helped, okay? And if I'm taking time to help you and you're not prepping your shops, you're not finishing your assignments on time, you're making obviously wrong choices and then not even caring on, why that choice was wrong, that is the type of person that I will not waste my time training. In order to be successful in Mega, there's a couple of things that you need to have, okay? And that is, first off, you need to have all of your shop slots maxed out. You need to, realistically, you can play the Contest of Mayors as a lower level player, 11, 18, 20, and 24. But the best level to be right now is 24. You can still find rares. You can utilize gold tokens. You can get epic projects done. You can, just overall, you've got donuts unlocked, which is great because you can make some money. Just in general, that is the best level to be. You don't have to worry about, that technical difficulty of, oh, do I even have epics available on my game, or is my game broken? That is a huge, huge deal breaker. For me, I would never want to put in months and months and months of my time into a game, upgrading my storage, only to find out that when I hit level 24, my game's broken and I'm unable to do epic projects. So that is why so many people have been speed leveling. All right. Now, the next thing that you need to have available is you need to have cash available. You need to prep for VU. You need to have VU. You need to be able to do the tasks. If you're unable to do a lot of your tasks, then you're going to fail. You have to be checking your game in a timely manner. You can't constantly fall off and disappear for 8 hours at a time if you want to win. It just doesn't work that way, So you need to be on top of it. You need to be prepared. Your shops need to be prepped. If you have not already, you need to watch my CoM prep guides. I have several videos about Contest of Mayors prep, but basically the gist of it isn't just the shops. Yes, you're going to prep your factories. Now, which factory items should you prep? Well, here's the thing. Chemical task is something you should try to avoid. It pops up very frequently. It's not worth a whole lot of points. And because of its popping up frequently, it'll set you back a lot. So when you prep your factories, try to prep something like feed or textiles or sugar. Now, sugar should only be cleared if it's above 2,000 points or right around 2,000 points. Otherwise, leave it alone. That goes for any other factory task, but chemicals, try your absolute best to avoid those at all costs, okay? If it were me, I would probably prep feed, just because it takes the longest, and it's usually worth the most when it does pop up. Now, if you're going for frequency, sugar probably pops up more frequent, but you're taking a risk because it's normally not, you know, worth a whole lot of points. It's totally up to you what you decide to prep, but either way, if you're prepping your shops, your barn, and things like that, you need to have 10 items finished at all times, and then 1 item being produced. This allows you to make money and have items ready for pickup. So what you don't want to do is have every shop have 11 items in it and you never making any money, right? Because if you allow it to sit there for days on end, or a day or whatever, you're not making any money. So prepping your shops accordingly is super beneficial. Now, you're going to be able to use the yellow arrows to cycle through. This allows you to pick up 1 item and then place 1 down. Now, you can also do this if your inventory is full. That's another way to do it. But more importantly, what you want to focus on is that you're not clearing your stuff too much, and you're not putting stuff in it too quickly. So what that means is, if you, let's say you prepped paint, okay? And you don't have a paint task, but you have a glue task. And you don't know if you're going to do it yet because it's super low. What you would do is you would collect 1 paint and you would put down 1 glue. People often make the mistake of collecting all the paint and putting out all the glue. And then all of a sudden you get, let's say you were to do that, and now you get a paint task. Now all of a sudden you just cleared all your paint for no reason. And now you've got a whole line of glue that you got to finish. So then people make mistakes and they say, okay, well, I might as well do the glue now, even though it's not the correct choice, because I already made it. And that is where you start to fall off. And when you start to make little mistakes like that, those little mistakes have a way of adding up to be worth a lot of points. Okay? Just like the repair and the launch VU. Oftentimes people will cut corners and they'll do the repairs and they'll try to pair them up so that they don't have to waste VU. You cannot do that. Let's say you had a repair for much less, but you had a launch VU. And so instead of repairing and doing the launch VU, you actually did the repair task and then did the launch VU task. That is a mistake. You cannot do that. And if you do that, it's going to continue. As you continue to do things like that and cut corners, those corners are going to start to stack up. And when you fall below a 2K average, it can be very difficult to get back up there. You have to remember that in order to remain at a 2K average, any points below 2,000 points, you have to make up for. So if you do a 1,900 or 18, let's say you did a 1,500 task, you have to make up for 500 points. Your next task, let's say it's 2,200, right? So now you've made up for 200 points out of the 500, so now you're still 300 points down. Then the next task, you get 1,900. Now you're back at 400 points down. You see where I'm going with that? Then you get a 3K task, so now you're up 700 points, and then you go up and down and up and down. You got to be careful, because if you go down, 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 it's not going to level itself out again. Now, that could be what costs you your win. You could easily lose by a couple hundred points, especially the further up you go in level. It gets like that, to where everybody is literally 20 points apart sometimes. So it's crucial that you don't cancel unless you absolutely have to, and that you don't cut corners. So in order for you to be able to do this, you have to be prepped. You got to have all of your shop slots unlocked. You got to prep your shops and make sure that there's always something being done. When you look at your list, you are multitasking. Even if you don't think you're going to do that, you're still multitasking. So If you open up your list and you see ladders, paint, and shoes, you know what you're doing? You're going over there and you're prepping those one at a time. You're not filling the shop, but you're prepping them because you know you might have to do that. And if you might have to do it, then what better time than to get it going right now, right? People wait until it's time to do something before they start focusing on it. You cannot do that. When it comes to airport flights and things like that, don't pre-pack the boxes. If you pre-pack the boxes, you're not going to be able to request a new shipment. You're going to have to find the items. You're going to have to spend cash, and you need to have cash available to spend. You need a minimum, and this is not realistically a good idea, but a minimum of $200 cash just to participate in the contest, preferably $300 to $400 cash. So make sure that you have cash, make sure that you have as much VU as you can get, that you are launching war attacks so that you can unlock the VU pass and save your war cards, okay? Because you're going to use those for your upgraded war attacks. All of these things are things that you need to have going on for you when you join in my CoM training course. You're going to send in your screenshots without selecting the task. You're going to say what you think the correct choice is. I don't want to have to ask you every time, what's the correct choice? What's the correct choice? Just say what you think it is. Then what you should be saying is, okay, I'm going to do the launch VU is what I would pick, and to prep the shoes and the sugar. When I say prep something, that does not mean you're going to do it. It just means you need to get it being made. That's what that means, okay? Now, as for everything else, like I said, I've already explained if you can't get a hold of me what to do, and then we will see where we're at, you know? So you can go about it two ways. You can try it by yourself the first time around and take screenshots of all of your choices and then send them to me all at once, and I'll review it. And that preferably, I would prefer that people do that if just for the first time around, so I get an idea of what your play style is, what I'm walking into, you know, what areas you need to work on, if you're completely failing or if you're almost there. So it would be super, super helpful, honestly, if everybody would do the first week on their own and take screenshots. Just make sure that it is the one you selected. Otherwise, what ends up happening when I go through the screenshots, I have to go back and forth and see which one is missing. It doesn't show me like, hey, you selected this. I have to go like figure out which one it was, and it takes a long time for me to go back and forth, and it's frustrating, and I'm not going to do it. So make sure that it's actually selected. Okay, that pretty much sums that up. The CoM training course it doesn't really have a time frame, honestly. Typically what happens is usually people are pretty on top of it. Within the first, I don't know, 2 weeks or 2 wins, they've got a pretty good idea of how things go. But then you'll start to see reverse rotation and things will start to get more difficult. And once you start to get things difficult, that's when you'll realize, hey, okay, this is going to take a little longer than normal, but you have the general idea of it down. So it's really basically as long as you want it to be, and it all depends on how well you're doing. Now, if you're not prepping your shops, if you're slacking and things like that, I'm not going to continue training you. I'm going to drop you because I have other people that request my time. Now, the way that I used to do it is I used to have a group chat where everybody would send in their screenshots and they could all conversate and help each other. That was ugly. That did not turn out well because some people were confusing others, and you know, other people were trying to be teachers when they really weren't in the position to be teaching, or they would get a wrong answer from somebody and then they'd blame them, and so it just got bad. Okay, so I'm going to pause the video for just a second. I'm going to pull up those mistakes that I was talking about, and then we'll go ahead and end the video. Okay, so this is the very first mistake that, well, it's not the first mistake, but this is the first mistake from the last time I spoke to this guy. Now, take a look at the list and tell me what you see wrong. Now, the very first thing you should have done is looked at his city level, which you can't really see, and so I'm going to tell you it's 24. He's got 25 tasks remaining, and he's only got 23 hours and 50 minutes left to the contest, plus tickets. Okay, so he is in a time crunch. Now, he's got a launch VU task here for 4,000 points, and he does the keys for 3,200. That is the incorrect choice. It's pretty obvious to me, and it should have been very obvious to a lot of people that that was incorrect. I mean, he picked a lower non-premium over a higher premium. That just doesn't make sense to me. Now, moving on. Here he has a launch disaster for 4,000 points, and he picks planks. Now, given the fact that he's in a time crunch, he should have started the planks on a token, but started the VU immediately, and he did not. That, to me, was just crazy, because that's what he should have done, okay? Given the time crunch. Now, if he wasn't in a time crunch, then this would have been the correct choice. Now, he does now this is where I get confused. Okay, so here we are. It was 23 hours and 50 minutes. He was faced with this choice between 3,200 keys and a 4,000 VU, and he chooses keys. Now here we are at 22 hours and 52 minutes. So it's been exactly 1 hour later, and all of a sudden, his choice changes. Why? Why? Why did he pick the launch VU this time but not last time? Doesn't make sense, does it? So here he is. He's got the same exact dilemma and two different choices. Why? It shows me he doesn't know what he's doing and he's not paying attention. Or he's cutting corners or something. I don't know. I asked him, what he was thinking, and he said he was low on VU. That doesn't make sense because here he is doing it anyways. So if you're able to do it an hour later, then why didn't you just do it right the first time? You know what I mean? So, okay, moving on. This is his VU. He had plenty of VU to get it done. Now, he could have paid cash for the VU. He had VU to get it done. He knew it needed to get done, and he did it an hour later. So making the wrong choice, it just was not necessary. Okay, so here we are with this. He's got plastic, which for 3,600, this is the correct choice. Now, we're back here, and look at this. Look what he did. Can somebody explain this to me? I can't explain this. I do not understand why you would pick a 3,200 keys over a 6,000 VU. I just can't wrap my head around it, even if you're low on VU. But this is where it gets frustrating to me. So he's got 22 hours and 23 minutes. Okay? Here he is. 22 hours, 23 minutes. 20 hours, 44 minutes. Here he is. Now he's doing the VU. So he just wasted 3 hours. But he had enough VU now. This. Okay, now VU is not in the mix. Now what's the excuse? He's got a London for 2,000, and he's got a delivery to Tokyo for 4,000. Now, this is double points week. So this is like doing a 1,000 versus 2,000. Why? They're both premium. This one's worth more points. I cannot understand this. This is, when you train people, this is the type of thing, like, if you're not understanding this, how the hell are you ever going to get it? You know what I'm saying? And so I asked him, why did you do this? And he said that, it's because premium. And I'm like, no. And I explained it to him, and he said, no, that was because the timer. It only had a couple minutes left on the London timer, and so I wanted to get it done. No! You cannot do that. You cannot play like that. I mean, how many times have I said this? If you start playing like that, and you start, oh, I'll just do this task. It's only worth, 1,000 less or 2,000 less. I'll just do this. I'll just do that. And then those stack up. Look at all these mistakes he's made. Look how much they stack up. I mean, look at his score is terrible compared to what it could be. And the fact that he's got an obscene amount of assignments left for the time remaining, plus tickets. So it's just, you start cutting corners like this, and you're going to have problems, okay? And this is not, this person in particular, every single week, they have had like 40 tasks remaining, okay? Every single week. And one week, I think he canceled like 25 tasks or some shit. Like this, I'm starting to wonder if he's doing this shit on purpose. So this is where it gets frustrating. So then he comes over here and he does this one now. Now it's worthy of being done. Then he comes and he does this. Explain this. Why did he do that? I don't understand. I do not understand. Why did he do the plastic over the Paris? There's no logic. None whatsoever. And okay, here's this. 6,000 war task. Then he says, well, we weren't in war. And I'm like, okay. But the first thing he said was, that popped up after. All right, let me tell you something, dude. It did not pop up after. That's not how this works. It popped up before it. It doesn't pop up after you do a task. You do a task, you get the task in return. He's trying to say that it popped up after he started the delivery to Paris. It does not work that way. Nice try. So then it's like, oh, well, we weren't in war. So he cancels it, okay? So now he cancels it. Well, if he was going to cancel it, why didn't he cancel it then? See where I'm going with this? Like, again, not making sense. It just... Hold on. All right, so fast forward a couple of tasks, and here we are again. Now he's got a launch disaster 2, and he does a 2400 repair. I don't know why. Maybe because he was running out of VU and he thought, oh, I'll just pair them together. You can't play like that at all. He would have been better off at this rate doing the damn coins. He's running low on tasks. The leaderboard, as you saw, he's like way down on the leaderboard. I mean, this is just crazy. Like the choices are just, I just don't get them at all. And then, okay, so now he has, all of a sudden, 6 hours, 23 minutes. Look at this. This is where it gets really frustrating. 6 hours, 21 minutes. So within 2 minutes, all of a sudden, he has enough VU to do it. Does that make sense to you? No, not at all. Okay, so then he gets this to do the war deliveries. Okay, so he does war deliveries. And he does Tokyo deliveries. Now he's got the wood, which he does. Okay. Now we're here. Now he wants my help. Then all of a sudden he falls off the face of the earth and doesn't send anything. Now he sends me the end of his list. Well, he still has roughly the same amount of VU, but if you look very closely, over here in this bottom corner, look at his shops. He's not prepping anything. He has nothing prepped. All of his shops should be prepped, and none of them are prepped. This is unacceptable. This is I had to drop him this week in training. I have been trying to train him for weeks, and to me, if you are making choices like this after 3 weeks of training and seeing every one of my CoM videos, you're either unteachable or you're doing it on purpose or you're not trying or I don't know what. But I am not wasting my time training people that are... I shouldn't be putting more effort into training you than you are into learning, okay? So all I ask is that if, you want to be trained and you want to win or whatever, that you actually give it your all and really try to learn. This I don't think people realize that when you choose not to restart and you give up that opportunity of winning the contest, it's quite a big opportunity that you've given up. But when you are a lower level player and you start playing the contest of mares and winning each week, I don't think people realize just how much I'm helping you. Like, you do realize that I'm giving you a tool to basically say that as long as you're not going up against a hacker, you can win 2,000 Sims Cash, 10 gold tokens, 250 platinum keys every single week. Do you realize that so many players pay money every week to have a fraction of what you have? And you're able to do it for free. You're going to be able to buy all your Maxuses, all of them, in no time. You're going to be able to line the back of your wall with waterfalls. You're going to have an obscene amount of Sims Cash and platinum keys and be able to design your city, and you're going to be able to do that without having to empty your wallet with what I teach. You know, I've got people in my Facebook group posting every single week on Monday or whatever. They post how they won, how they hit first place. CPT wins every week, you know, and when people don't win, it's usually because they were going up against a hacker. So you want to win? You can win. You know, you just got to apply yourself and really try. And I'm telling you, that's a lot of resources, especially when you don't have to pay for them. I mean, the fact that CPT has, I mean, you realize that he put in 15,000 Sims Cash in his Maxis, but he only had to buy the passes. And when you look at the 1,400 at the end of the pass, that's well paid for. So that, given with all of the other things like the shop slots and things like that, you could easily just bank out. As long as you remain level 24, you can play the contest of mares every week forever. You know, especially with the tools that I've given and the information, the knowledge that I've given you guys. I don't think a lot of people realize just how priceless it is. Like, if I would have had the knowledge that I've given you guys early on, I would have had exactly what CPT has. You know what I mean? Like the things that when he first started out, he was, I believe, a level 30 when he had joined my group, or so. No, he had restarted, but he was a level 30. And his city was just like everybody else's his first time around. It was terrible. He leveled up too quickly and he restarted. But he has done great. You know, he followed my Missy's Building Guide 150%. And he's done excellent. And many people have followed in his footsteps and done excellent. I can't tell you how many people have hit me up on Facebook, in Messenger, in comments. Hundreds, maybe thousands of people have hit me up and said, you know, I can't believe, you know, how long I was playing the wrong way. I'm already, you know, after a month of playing, I'm already at so much storage more than I had in my other city, and I feel so much better, and I see opportunity, and they're just happier. They're like, I can't believe I've been playing wrong this whole time. And so if you apply the knowledge that I've given you and put out just the littlest bit of effort, you can succeed. You can do good. And that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to help you guys do good so that you don't have to spend all your damn money on the game to struggle. You know, but you got to try harder. This right here is not ambition or motivation. This is a slacker. You're slacking, dude. And until you can show me that you are committed and that you're not going to waste my time, then I will not train him, you know, or anybody like him. So please do not waste my time. I am always more than happy to help people. You just have to hit me up on Facebook. You know, I'm that way. I'm like that. I will help you, but you have got to put forth effort. Okay. So be sure to hit that like and subscribe button. We are so close to 1,000 subscribers. I think we're like 50 away. So anybody here who hasn't hit that button, Just click the button. Takes 2 seconds. It's free, and it's honestly the way what you can do to give back to me for all the help that I've done for you, right? All right. So I will upload this, and then also we have a couple spaces available in our group. If you did not see the group rules video, you're going to need to watch that. But be sure to check out the group rules recruit video, and our club code is RQMKNG. The name is Neverland MissyAnne CPT, not MissyAnne, but MissyAnne with the symbol and CPT. So I would just use the club code RQMKNG. Make sure that you tell me what your city name is, and that way I can approve you when your application comes in. Make sure you are not already logged into a group and that you are watching for the little notification to pop up on your screen that says, would you like to join in Neverland? Okay? All right.